So here we are back in our HTML file, and this is the file that we've been working on. It basically contains the list items that we've decorated with some various styles via the jQuery. The issue with the method in which we used right here is it's creating inline styles. There are some times when it is a good idea to use the CSS jQuery method, the one that we just finished doing. And that might be when you want to kind of quickly debug code. So for instance, if you just wanted to outline an element in a certain color to make sure that you've selected it correctly, it's going to be much quicker to just kind of do this inline style like we've done instead of switching to the CSS file and adding a new rule. That may be a waste of time. But in most situations, you're going to want to remove the CSS from the inline style rules and put it in a separate style sheet. So either an external style sheet, which is probably the most common way, or perhaps in an embedded style sheet, but definitely you don't want it to be the inline styles. So you can just put the styles that you want as a rule in our regular CSS that's set up a class or a tag or an ID or whatever, and then you can use jQuery to add or remove that class from targeted elements in your HTML. So let's go ahead and let's look how we're able to do this. jQuery provides some really helpful methods for manipulating the class attributes of DOM elements, and we're going to use the most common of these, which is called the add class method, and we're going to move our background colors into the CSS file where they certainly belong. So in order to do this, let's go ahead and let's set up the CSS first of all. So I'm going to go back into my source code, and in this particular example I'm using embedded styles just to keep it easier and keep everything on the page. In the future though, we'll definitely be using external style sheets, but the method in which you're going to apply this is exactly the same. So let's go ahead and just set up a class name. So we're going to go ahead and call this one striped, and I'll just open and close my curly braces to make a new rule here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to set the background color, and let's go ahead and make the background color the same color. We'll just use that same color gray that we were using before, and then we're going to also set the text color to be a specific color, and for this case we'll just have the text be a different color so that we can for sure see it. I'm going to actually change this value right here to be a little bit of a lighter gray. Let's use a CCC. That'll be a little bit lighter. So I've went ahead and set up my CSS rule so that the background color is going to be a lighter gray, and then the text is going to be this greenish blue color. And I've set up a class called striped. So right now, if I save my page and if we toggle into the browser, nothing has actually changed. When we refresh the page and go ahead and view it in the browser, we're not going to see any difference, and that's because we haven't applied our style yet. So that's going to be the next step. So let's go ahead and let's do that now. We'll go back into our HTML of the document, and we're going to actually visit our script file right here, and we're going to first add the class, and then we'll go ahead and apply it. Let's look at how we can augment what we have to apply the style that we want. We're still going to be targeting the UL numbers list, and we just want to target the even numbers, but instead of having the CSS which is being generated in line here, we're going to go ahead and we'll change all of this code right here. So let's just get rid of that, and we're going to use the add class method rather than CSS. So I'm going to go ahead and type add class, and then in parentheses I will type inside the quotes the name of the class that I want to add, which in this case is striped. We've already created that, and that should be it. If we go ahead and save our page and now go into the browser and refresh it, you're going to see that it has updated, and we know for sure because the background color and the text color has changed. So it's actually, in a way, actually easier to use the CSS. And if we inspect the code via Firebug, so I'm going to go ahead and just click on one of these right here, you can see that this list item just has a class of striped attached to it, but I no longer have those inline styles, so I just have a class. So my HTML is much cleaner, and it certainly is much easier. And another advantage of using this method is I think it's a little bit easier all in all to change the style. If I want to add something else to this, I would just go back into my CSS and I could go ahead, let's say I wanted to change the font style to italic or something like that. So we'll go ahead and we'll add font style and we'll choose italic. And let's add a font weight of bold just to make this look a little bit different. And if I just save my page and come back into the browser and refresh it, you'll see that these are now italic and they're bold. But if we inspect our HTML code, it still is just applying the class of striped, and we're not adding any more additional code. This is a super powerful feature. It's really great that you can go ahead and do this. And I think it'll make your development so much easier to be able to control these things via your jQuery. Just imagine if you wanted to apply these types of styles without using jQuery, you would actually have to put the class code in the HTML. jQuery is actually generating this for us, so it's definitely going to be a time saver once you get yourself kind of wrapped around it.